I never thought I'd live to hear those words from my own child. You don't deserve respect anymore. Dad. They hit harder than any physical blow could. My hands trembled as I set my coffee mug down, the steam curling like smoke over a battlefield I never thought I'd have to fight in. My own home. You see, I built everything my family has today. The house, the land, even the small business that kept food on our table for decades. It all came from my blood and sweat. I worked double shifts at the steel mill, skipped meals so my kids would eat, and saved every penny so they wouldn't grow up in the hunger I knew as a boy. And yet, one sentence from my daughter, Emily, made me feel smaller than I had ever felt in my life. It started with little signs. Emily and her husband, Rick, moved in with me a few months ago after financial troubles. I welcomed them. After all, what's family for? But soon, their tone shifted. They criticized how I folded my laundry, how I spoke too loudly on the phone, how I hoarded money instead of spending it. One evening at the dinner table, Rick smirked and said, "Maybe it's time you stop pretending you're in charge of anything. You're old now. Just enjoy the chair and TV, Dad." I laughed it off, trying to keep peace. But Emily didn't laugh. She looked at me like I was nothing but a shadow in her house. "You don't deserve respect anymore," she said, her voice sharp. "Respect is earned. And you're just old. What have you done lately for anyone?" The fork dropped from my hand. My chest felt heavy, like the air had been sucked out of the room. What had I done? I raised her. I gave her a life and education, and even paid off her debts when Rick's business failed. But now I was being told I didn't deserve even respect. That night, I sat awake in my study, staring at the boxes of documents I had neatly stacked, wills, deeds, accounts, all the inheritance I planned to pass on. I remember my late wife, Margaret, telling me years ago, "Promise me, Harold, don't let them walk all over you. You deserve peace in your old age." I promised her then, and that night I decided it was time to honor that promise. The very next morning, I drove to my lawyer's office. A kind man, Mr. Douglas, who had known me for 20 years. "Harold," he said, adjusting his glasses, "are you certain about this?" "These are big changes." I nodded. "I've made up my mind. My children have shown me their hearts. I won't leave my life's work to people who think I'm worthless." Together, we rewrote the will. Instead of my house, land, and savings to Emily and Rick, I redirected everything to two places: a charity that funds scholarships for underprivileged kids, and my grandson, Oliver, Emily's boy, who was only 12, but treated me with more kindness than his parents ever did. Oliver loved sitting with me in the evenings, listening to my stories, helping me water the garden, and laughing at my old jokes. He never once made me feel like a burden. If anyone deserved my legacy, it was him. The storm broke a week later. Emily found out when she overheard me on the phone with Mr. Douglas. She burst into my study, her face red with fury. "You changed the will?" she shouted. "You're cutting us out." I stood slowly, meeting her glare. "Respect, Emily. That's all I ever wanted. But you told me I don't deserve it. So why should you deserve what I built?" Rick barged in behind her. "You can't do this. Old man, that house is practically ours already. We've been living here, taking care of you." I couldn't help but laugh. "Taking care of me? You mean eating my food, using my utilities, and insulting me in my own home?" I shook my head. "No, I won't be disrespected in the house I built with my bare hands. If you think you're entitled to everything, think again." Emily's eyes filled with tears. But they weren't tears of regret. They were tears of anger. "You'll regret this, Dad. You'll die alone." Her words pierced me, but I didn't waver. Better to die alone with dignity than surrounded by people who see me as nothing. Days turned into weeks. The house grew quieter. Emily and Rick stopped talking to me, sulking in their room. Oliver still visited me, still helped me with the garden, still called me Grandpa with warmth in his voice. He didn't understand attention fully, but he knew something had shifted. One evening, while we sat on the porch, Oliver asked, "Grandpa, are you mad at Mom?" I sighed. "Not mad, son, just disappointed. Respect is something you give freely to those who love you. One day you'll understand. He nodded, his young eyes wiser than his years. I respect you, Grandpa. I think you're amazing. My throat tightened. That single sentence meant more to me than any inheritance ever could. The breaking point came when Emily and Rick tried to bully me into reversing my decision. They cornered me in the kitchen one night. If you don't change the will, Rick sneered, we'll move out. We'll leave you all alone. I looked them both in the eyes and smiled. Then do it, because loneliness with peace is better than company with cruelty. And they did. They packed up their things, dragging Oliver with them. He hugged me tight before leaving, whispering, I'll come back, Grandpa. I promise. Months passed. The house was quiet again, but peaceful. I spent my days tending the garden, reading, and volunteering at the local community center. My lawyer finalized a new will, securing my legacy where it belonged. And one bright Saturday morning, Oliver showed up at my door with his little backpack. Mom dropped me off, he grinned. She said I could spend the weekend. We spent the day fishing at the lake, laughing and sharing stories. In his eyes, I saw my redemption. My inheritance wasn't just money or property. It was the lessons of love and the respect I passed on to him. As the sun set, I thought of Margaret again. I whispered to the wind. I kept my promise. Love, they'll never walk over me. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free.